Hello. Why is that there? I don't know why that's there. Sorry about that. I would have come on screen way easier, but my microphone was just kind of there going, no, I need 5 more minutes. My microphone just didn't want to turn on. Hello. Little bit, Prof. Good morning to you both. It's Thursday. It's Thursday. We're here. We're here and it's Thursday. Is that going full screen? Oh no, it's because that's script. Never mind. Ignore me. Ignore me. Thought that wasn't going full screen. It's because I don't have a certain other thing full screen. I realise that makes no sense. Anyway, hello Yana. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I've got you all on a different screen today, and I don't know if I like it. I normally read the chat via Twitch, but today I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to see how it goes if I read the chat via Restream instead, because Restream puts Twitch and YouTube into the same chat, and I'm curious. Not that anyone's watching on YouTube, but I'm very conscious of if I miss someone, how bad an experience is that if I miss someone who is actually on YouTube. But then it means I don't have access to, like, it's on a whole different screen now, or like the controls for Twitch. I might have to do some messing around and get more of the Twitch controls onto my Stream Deck. I think that's the answer. Yana, enjoy second breakfast. Prof, don't worry. Wait, you don't like yourself either. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Prof? Of course you like yourself. As do many other people. Right, today. You don't like being on this monitor. Oh, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that you don't like being on this monitor. Okay, look, I'll tell you what. I'm looking at you on Twitch chat now. Is that better? Is that better? I've switched over to the Twitch chat. We'll just have to check in with the YouTube chat every now and then. Today. What are we going to do today? What are we going to do today? We're going to do... Well, we've got a few bits. I'll tell you what, let's make a new to-do list. This worked out quite well last time, didn't it? Let's make a new to-do list. Also, Barely, good morning. Hope you are filled with intolerable joy and excitement. No, honestly, use the other monitor, see if that works. Oh no, I don't know where to be. I mean, we're all on different pages. I mean, there's not even anyone on YouTube right now. Like, I don't anticipate. Oh no, apparently someone is. Apparently there is someone watching YouTube. Sneaky. There's one person. To the person watching YouTube, can you just put something into YouTube chat? Because I want to see how it appears on Restream chat. Obviously, if you're no one on Twitch will see you. No one on Twitch will see you. Only I will see you on Restream chat. So you still get to hide. Thursday. What is it? It's the 18th, isn't it? Thursday, 18th. To do. There we go. Right. Do you know what I love? I've literally just said, whoever's in YouTube chat right now, because I can see there's one person, can you type in YouTube chat so that I can see how it works on Restream? So what happens? Barely confirms that he is currently watching YouTube chat and tells me on Twitch chat. Like, what? I understand sometimes instructions can be unclear, but I don't know I don't know how I'm supposed to word that. No, that was on YouTube chat. No, you saying I am was not on YouTube chat. Lies. You saying, oh look, which you've just done now. I know what you're typing, Belly. You're not gonna get one up on me. I can see all the chats. I could see all of them. Vivi, good morning. Good morning, Vivi. How you doing? I see everything. Sado, good morning. Good morning, Sado. Well, I had bits that I was going to talk about today. Anyway, right, okay. So at some point, I need to do Ashamir's gnome, because Ash won a gnome last month. We did a gnome giveaway last month, and Ash won one. We need to do right things. This is more. Do you know? Forget the Thursday bit. Forget the Thursday bit. This is just stuff that needs to happen. Ashamir's gnome needs doing. Thumbs. I need at some point to go back to Thumbs. That's not how you do a Z. I need to go back to Thumbs's Bard. I need. Do you know what's not good? Do you know what's not good with the restream thing? And this is the weirdest thing in the world. If I'm on restream, the feed, the video feed that I'm seeing is so far behind where we're actually up to, which is really weird. Really weird. I'm just gonna look at Twitch. I'm gonna look at Twitch, and every now and then I'll just go and look at Yahoo. YouTube. We have not got Yahoo Chat here anymore. Does Yahoo Chat even exist anymore? Man, I used to love Yahoo Chat when I was a kid. I have no idea how many people I spoke to that were actually who they said they were. I could have been talking to anyone. Oh, but if I have this like this... Hang on, can I make that smaller? Ooh, I can make that smaller. That does go a bit smaller. Oh, it can go a bit bigger. You go a bit to you. Right, there we go. There we go, that's good. Thumbs is Bard. Ashamir's Gnome. I think I'm getting down to how I want magic and souls to work. On a side subject. Souls and magic. Souls and magic. We're getting. I think I'm getting a bit more happy in my head where that's going to work. The library, which actually the library. So the library, like the first bit, I realized what I said. Okay, so to anyone who doesn't know what the library is essentially my work folder being on a Google Drive, and so available to everyone who's a member on Kofi. At a certain level, there's like one level that doesn't have access to it, but all the other levels do. But there's going to be a README file for the library, which I kind of need people to read before they use the library. Not that I think anyone's going to particularly go out of their mind and use it in a nefarious fashion, but more it's kind of like there's a README, which is kind of clarifying what will be in the library, so I'm not kind of like people don't have weird expectations. And then also how they can use the library. Ideally, I think I want to kind of almost put it somewhere public, rather than it being specifically on Kofi, because I think I would like people to be able to read it before they get a membership. You know, because you might read it and go, "Oh, this isn't why I want access to this thing." But yeah. Yana, what was your second breakfast? What was second breakfast? What did you get? What have you got? What are you doing? Souls and Magic, the library. We might talk about zombies. News about zombies. Because that story that I posted last night, I found really funny. I found really funny because I have, and we can look at the library for this. We can look. In fact, maybe I'll put. Do you know what? I might even put my little bits of stories in the. Like, they're all a complete mess. They're all fractured, fragmented pieces. But I might actually put my story stuff in the library as well, because then there's just more. There's just more content there, isn't there? Though to clarify, my story stuff is all very bitty because I write bits in bits rather than a cohesive manner, which is why I've never actually been able to write a full story. 1.9. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, look at that. See, look. Do you know what? Your name is so close to your follow, where you followed right at the end of a stream. And I was like, oh no, he followed at the end of his stream. But hello, welcome back. Welcome, welcome. We're going to try and do some artwork today. I say we're going to try and do some artwork. Some of these things aren't artwork, but let's not worry about that. But anyway, yeah, so the library, I've got a README file for that, which I kind of want to be public somewhere so that people can read it before they potentially try and grab a membership. I think that would be a good thing. Yana, homemade sandwiches with homemade bread, edamame cheese, tomato olives. Wait, a tomato olive cream made with a base from sunflower seeds. Oh, that sounds rather tasty. And ricola. I don't actually know what that is. I'm going to have to Google that. I've got no idea what that is. But wonderfully, I've got a screen in front of me that brings me all of the answers, even the wrong ones. Oh, wait, no. Do I know that by a different name? Like, do you know what? I feel like I have probably had that all the time, but it's normally in a bag of, like, when you're in the supermarket. Like, you can buy bags of rocket, and you can buy, like, bags of lettuce, and you can buy bags of various things, and then you'll get, like, a bag of mixed leaves, which when people are trying to be fancy, right? When people are making a salad, and they're trying to be fancy, and they're going down the supermarket, and normally they'd just go and buy an iceberg lettuce, and they'd just be like, yeah, an iceberg lettuce, that's nice. That works well as a base for a salad. And then they're like, oh, but Aunt Jemima's coming round this weekend, so it's like, oh, she does tend to judge what we eat. At which point, you turn around and go, you put the iceberg lettuce back. You still take a cucumber, because a cucumber can still be fancy. But then you kind of like, you go over to the mixed leaves, and you go, we better have a bag of mixed leaves, because that looks like we're posh and we've got money. And then you this is probably one of the few times you'll actually buy an avocado, and you'll get the avocado to go with the salad. Those leaves, I'm pretty sure, are in the mixed bags of lemon. So I probably have had it loads just without realizing. Oh no, it's Rocket. It is Rocket. Wait, hang on. Wait, no, this thing at the top says it's something else entirely. So, okay, you know when I said we had a thing that we could go and search for all the answers, but maybe not all the answers you wanted. At the top, this tells me. Okay, we got Arugula is apparently its English name. But then, as I scroll further down, it refers to it as rocket. So no, wait, okay. There we go. There we go. Apparently Americans call it Arugula. I would call it rocket. So I knew I recognised the leaf. There we go. We're back now. Fancy names. Okay, the internet kind of failed me there, but it's all right because I've got a Yana, and a Yana can provide me with all the answers. But anyway, right, okay, so what else have we got on this to-do list? Because the problem with a to-do list, if a to-do list gets too big, it's not going to happen because there's too much stuff. So I don't really want to put more than this on here. There was something else I wanted to talk about today, though. It wasn't the news, because we've got our zombie news. We're one step closer to the zombie apocalypse, people, and that delights me no end. As long as they're the slow ones. If they're fast zombies, I want no part of that. But if they're slow zombies, I'm all for it. Yeah, okay, I'll tell you what. Let's leave the to-do list. To-do list is there. The zombies, we can kind of tackle that, but also, just to clarify, I'll tell you what. So when I said this thing, when I was talking about this thing, Where's... I don't even know... Where do I keep it? I keep it there, don't I? That's not the right place. That's not the right place at all. Where's... Is it here? Oh, it's here. It's all fine. It's all fine. So, like, years ago, years and years and years ago, I'm talking about, like, since I was about 20? Because 20 was probably when I started getting into zombie movies. And I started making my own little story. And obviously the zombie story was based around where I live. Because I had a whole zombie survival plan. And so it just made sense to turn that into a story. I even started thinking about the fact that zombies and trains. I used to think about kind of like how like maybe the roads would be too dangerous due to zombies, and so the main travel around the country was like people going around in these fortified trains. But yeah, so this zombie story that I was going to call No Man's Land because everything's been taken over by zombies, and the origin of the virus. Spoilers for anyone if I ever finish this. If I ever finish this thing, spoilers for all of you. But the origin of the virus was a pharmaceutical company creating beauty products, and they basically worked out that they could de-age the body and like halt the aging process. But the best way to get it in your body was to basically take a virus, take the bad bits out of the virus, and then viruses are very good at getting around your body. So their beauty product was an engineered virus that would make people more youthful, and people loved it. So loads of people took it. But what they didn't appreciate was, and at the time, I must have read something. I must have read something about the fact that like one of the bits that we understand least about the body is like the brain, and also the fact that a lot of your body, things like your stomach lining and like your liver and stuff are very good at regenerating and looking after themselves. But like, say like your brain is not very good. Like your brain is kind of like a little bit like, it's very easy to like damage the brain, and it doesn't look after itself very well for a long period of time. And so this virus that I had was, while it was being able to look after the rest of the brain, it wasn't working very well with the brain because we don't understand that very well. And that was how my zombies started. But it became very widespread because lots of people enjoyed this beauty product. Because the thing was, this beauty product was distributed the same way like we'd distribute face cream, or makeup or something like that. And then so when I saw that news about those people creating a drug that had extended the life of those mice, and they were doing human trials, I was like, and it was for a beauty thing. It was for beauty. I was like, oh my god, I need to start. I mean, to be fair, I need to start stockpiling a lot more toilet paper. So there you go. That was the thing about the zombies. I've got a story about that. I've got a story which maybe I should go back to and get it out there. But the problem is I'll probably have to put it out as a manual now that's coming along. One point out, a few years ago, used to pluck it out of the garden. Oh, sorry, that was a relation. I was about to say you were in the garden with zombies, and then I was like, I probably should read the whole thing in full, really, shouldn't I? You used to pluck it out of your garden because it was considered a weed. Now it's a mandatory part of a restaurant salad. This is what I'm saying. Mixed leaves, posh, makes people think that they're being better than the people just with, iceberg lettuce. It's a good one in sharp in taste. Yeah, do you know, now that the thing that threw me was just it was just done in a name that I'd not seen it called before. But yeah, no. Rocket's delicious. I'm a big fan. That and spinach. Spinach is another great one. I'm a big fan of that. Anyway, right, so Thumbs' Bard is probably not going to be today. that probably won't be today. Souls and Magic in the library are probably what we'll end up doing today, because those relate. These relate to getting the library going. So I think those will probably be what we focus on today. And if Ash is here, we might make a start. We'll make a start on Ash's gnome if Ash is lurking today. Or actually, should we do Souls and Magic today? Souls and Magic is going to just be a lot of writing, not a lot of arting. A lot of writing, not a lot of arting. If we were doing Souls and Magics in the library, I probably should change the category over to writing. Also, I'm no further on with the what I'm going to call the legendary companies. So, like we talked about those last week, because we obviously can't use regiments of renown. Though, in terms of looking into everything, I don't think I'd want to use regiments anyway, because regiment, I feel like regiment might be a bit too much of a modern word in terms of the way that we'd probably be using it. Like the way I think of the word regiment, I don't think came in until something like it was either the 18th or 19th century, and that might be too far ahead. Rocket goes hard with cherry tomato. Oh, cherry tomatoes are great. Mozzarella. Don't get me 1.9. Don't get me started on mozzarella. Mozzarella on salad. Do you know what the right? No, I need to clarify this. Now that I've said that, that sounds like I'm saying like that mozzarella is rubbish. I do need to caveat this with the fact that I have no idea if I've ever had good mozzarella, because I've only had mozzarella that I've bought in the UK, so it might be rubbish mozzarella. But whenever mozzarella is on a salad, it's rubbish and tasteless and pointless, and it shouldn't be there. It's a waste of space. But that might just be because we don't have great mozzarella here. Do the British eat felled salad? I don't know. Don't know. Felled salad. Yes. Not. Again, this is one of these ones. This is one of these ones where you're trying to be fancy. This is one of these ones where you're trying to be fancy. You're trying to impress someone. You're trying to convince them that you know you're. This is when you're trying to convince someone that you're healthier than you actually are. So yes, we do. Yeah. Uh, 1.9. Took it from a nerdy website. Oh yeah. So sorry. Yeah, regiment. So that I might have worded that wrong. So when I was saying regiment wasn't really used until the 18th, 19th century, I mean in terms of like the way we use it today. So when I'm referring to like the soldiers in the world that we're putting together, like I'm trying to come up with a name. I'm trying to come up with a name that is similar to regiments of renown. And part of this, I've been looking up like what the origins of like the word regiment and the origins of the word company and battalion and legion and all that kind of stuff, in the hopes of getting a bit of inspiration. So yeah, just to clarify, I know regiment is an older word than the 18th, 19th century, but I mean from the point of view of like using it specifically as like a military unit organization. I'm going to say more commonly. I'm going to say more commonly used. Maybe that's the better way of wording it. In the 18th, 19th centuries, when it seems to have become more of that's a military unit. But equally, the other problem I saw with regiments was I think regiments are probably going to be too big. I think a regiment is too big for what I'm planning on doing with these things. I think company is probably better. So at the moment, I was kind of going with, like I was calling them. I realized we're going to be doing a bit of writing, which I was just trying to say we're trying to avoid, but for the sake of it anyway. So at the moment, I've got apparently I've got nothing. Apparently I've got nothing because this doesn't come here. Come here. So at the moment, I've kind of got companies. Companies of honor is like my version of regiments of renown. I'm not super happy with that. I don't think it sounds quite. It doesn't sound quite what I want it to be at the moment. Which it sucks because regiments of renown is a really it really trips off the tongue. Regiments of renown, I like that, but it's also very much used by another company, by another fantasy organization. So we won't use companies of honor. We got blank drawing still, right? Little bit. There we go. Look, drawing. There we go. Now it's one of the gnomes. Look, I've given it big ears. It's one of the gnomes now. No, it's got some hair. Probably meant to have a beard. Probably meant to have a beard. There you go. It's got a beard. There you go. Right, you got a drawing on screen now, okay? Drawing exists on screen. So I had companies of honor, and then the problem with regiments is a regiment was like 800 people and was made up of multiple companies. 800 people, and that's a bit big. That's a bit big for what I'm like, the kind of things I'm trying to put into place. Whereas a company is between 80 to not 8. Oh, for God's sake. 80 to 100 people. So that feels a bit more manageable for the stuff I'm trying to do. And then okay, so yeah, so like Warband. The thing with Warband is I don't feel Warband, and this is very much down to how the word sounds rather than its potential use, if that makes sense. Like a warband invokes in my brain like something that's maybe more of a paramilitary type business. Although saying that, the watch was technically paramilitary. Although, do you know, it's weird bringing paramilitary into this because paramilitary is not a term we're going to use in this world. We'd be using irregulars. We'd be using irregulars, not paramilitary. This drawing's going to get in the way. I'll tell you what. There we go. little image down at the bottom. And so, you know, so this was a whole thought process that was going through my brain. Do you know what? Today, no, right, okay, sod it. We're not talking about companies of heroes today. Companies of heroes. Let's just go into a whole other genre of storytelling and gaming. Not companies of hero, companies of honor. This is almost part of the problem, because I feel like if I write COH anywhere, people are going to go, "Oh, you're talking about company of heroes." No. So that could be another reason to get away from that. Anyway, right, we're not going to do that today. That's a lot of writing, and we've already had grumblings from the audience that there's not enough artwork happening. So let's have where's, I'll tell you what, this is what we'll do. Not 100% sure how we're going to do this, actually, the thing what we're going to do today. Let's go over here. This probably makes more sense. And we've done a lot of writing recently. I really should do more artwork. Because that's what the channel's labelled as. Insert new layer. Give me that. Remove that. Come to here. Bring that over here. Oh, look, we have got some music. I thought the music had left us, you know, for a bit. Let's do that. And then, in terms of the description I've been given, I've not been given... I get the impression that Ash never wanted a gnome. I don't think Ash ever wanted a gnome. Because I asked him, what kind of gnome does he want? And he wants... well, right up here for the moment, just so it's here. But he wants feathers. From Wallace and Gromit as a gnome. And the problem that arises with this is there's not a lot to feathers. Feathers is... So for anyone who's got no idea what Wallace and Gromit is, or feathers more specifically in Wallace and Gromit, Feathers is a penguin. That'll do. There we go. This is probably the most common show of feathers in Wallace and Gromit. So this is Feathers, and this is what Ash wants his gnome to be based on. So yeah. I think that's when he's trying to pretend to be a chicken, I think. Now there is a hang on. Right. Let's grab that one as well. We'll grab that one as well as a reference. So this is what I've got to work with, and I've got to turn this into a gnome. I thought turning a gnome into a were-dog was going to be difficult. This is going to be... I don't know what this is going to be. So in Wallace and Gromit, this penguin... I'm trying to remember exactly what happened in the storyline, but somehow Feathers gets into their life, and Gromit is aware that the penguin is a criminal. but Wallace isn't. And I can't remember why Wallace doesn't work out that they're a criminal. And I want to say they're doing bank robberies. I want to say Feathers is doing bank robberies. But I don't know if that's correct. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since I've watched Wallace and Gromit. I wonder if this... Do you know, actually, maybe, would this give me some inspiration? If I go and check up... If I go check up the storyline of Feathers in Wallace and Gromit. He is a silent yet avaricious penguin. I'm going to go with avaricious. Who is revealed to be a notorious criminal mastermind and bird of many faces. Long thought to be a chicken, but McGraw was actually exposed as a penguin when his plan to rob a museum of a precious blue diamond. Sorry, not a bank, a museum. A precious blue diamond was foiled by Wallace and Gromit. He is also the arch enemy of the titular duo. He disguised himself as a chicken, as you can see on screen. He does a really good impression of a chicken. He disguised himself as a chicken by wearing a rubber glove on his head. This is apparently enough to fool Wallace and possibly Gromit, as well as local law enforcement, as evidenced by a wanted poster mistaking him for a chicken for his chicken disguise. Oh, that's how he came into their life. They rented out a room. So Feathers became their lodger, and as he was their lodger, that's when Gromit started becoming aware that he was doing dodgy stuff. So this is what we've got to do. We've got to turn this guy into a gnome. I'll tell you what, let's just get rid of that from. We all know that he's a character and this isn't his full name. So McGraw. Feathers McGraw. Yeah. That's a thing. And then if I remember, this is the one, I think this was the one where they had the trousers. So Wallace is an inventor. For anyone who's never watched Wallace and Gromit, he's an inventor, and I think he made, I think this one was, he was in the strange trousers, and I seem to remember the penguin. I think the penguin tried to steal the trousers. They were these big mechanical trousers, very they would have fit right in with in a steampunk setting. Oh yeah. So Origin, the wrong trousers. He was in the wrong trousers. Yeah. Okay. The 1993. Yeah, and then his disguise. Okay. Well, we'll start where we always start, and that is with the basic gnome. Oh, that didn't work, did it? Why do you do this, critter? Why do you do this? Why are you like this to me? So God, it's been so long since I've drawn a gnome. It's been so long. This is good. We should draw more gnomes. And I tell you what, so we can try and get 2 things off the to-do list today, what I'll do is, I don't know exactly how many people are here because I don't get to see a view count anymore because of the way OBS is set up. We got a few people here. We got like 7 people here. So some people are here, some people aren't. So what I was saying before about I've been trying to create like a README file for the library, and the idea of it is it's kind of almost like an FA. It's like a very limited FAQ, I suppose, is probably the best way of describing it for how you can use the library. And I've been trying to write it in a way that kind of covers what needs covering, but in a way that people will actually read it, because I know people don't want to read walls of text. But I kind of like, I want people to know what's in the library. And this is why just before I was saying potentially I want to put it like more that it's in a public space rather than once you're in, because, you know, some people might not want, people might sign up for the wrong reasons, and I'd rather avoid that. But basically the README file, in fact, why don't I just get the README file up? So like at the first part of the README file is just kind of explaining what actually will be in the what will actually be in the library, and it kind of talks about like the fact that things won't necessarily be finished. Like, you're not going to be, while there will be some finished, while there will be stuff finished in there, and over time more and more things will become finished, the library is going to be more of a work in progress area. Essentially kind of seeing behind the scenes of where my brain's working on, where my brain's at in terms of figuring out how everything fits together. So it's not going to be, so like I don't necessarily want people to be thinking, oh, if I go to the library I get to see all the finished, like, you know, I get to see everything as it's finished, because that would be, and I can completely understand if someone goes in with that mentality, they will be hugely disappointed. They'll be like, this is just a big mess of notepads and half-finished artworks, this is rubbish. If you're planning on going for a bunch of finished bits. It also clarifies, because one of the other things I appreciate that not everyone's going to be interested, or not necessarily not interested, more concerned, I think is probably the reason why I was doing it, was I've also clarified how things like horror, so horror, like extreme gore, anything that might be considered not safe for work, and I say anything that might be considered because people have different views on what is not safe for work. So I've kind of like clarified, like, essentially I've put those under like sensitive topics, and what I've tried to do is I've kind of said I want people to feel comfortable navigating the library, that they're not immediately going to be presented with something that they just simply don't want to see. This is not to say that those things won't be in the library, because certain topics in this fantasy world, I think, fall under kind of sensitive areas. You know, even like when we did the blood tree, like the blood tree, I know there's going to be people who would not want to read about the blood tree and how that works. So that's like an existing thing. But, you know, I've also talked about things like the goblins stealing the elflings, and the reason they do it is because they essentially are trying to breed out the mutation that has occurred to them when they were working for the elves. Like, that kind of stuff is not necessarily going to be things that people want to read about. So I'm going to make sure that stuff's kind of like, it's not going to be just in the middle of some other topic. It's going to be in its own file, because it's part of the world. But I also get that not everyone wants to see or read about that. I don't know why I'm putting shadow on these bits. I don't know why I'm doing this. And in terms of like things like not safe for work stuff, I'm not necessarily like, I don't like, it's not like I draw a lot of not safe for work stuff off stream. That's not like, it's not, I mean, I barely find time off stream to do any artwork. But I also feel like that's obviously going to be something that's on people's minds, because I don't know how many other art streams people hang out in, but what I tend to find is whenever I hang out in other people's art streams, they do lots of other things beyond what you see on stream. And I think one of the most common things to end up in, say, like a members only area is what is generally termed as like spicy content. And we're going to use spicy because it's a safer way of saying these things. And so people, you know, like that, if you've been in any other art streams, it's really not uncommon for like people to go, oh, if you have membership to my area, you get to see spicy content. Now there's not, I've not got like folders and folders. I've not got like a plethora of spicy content hidden somewhere. I'm not trying to say that that's what's going to be in the members area. But what I'm trying to explain with this README file is kind of saying, if anything is of like one of those topics that I've just discussed, I'm going to put it in a separate folder so that you don't like accidentally stumble into it. Like, I don't want you like going through, I'll tell you what, to use another example, if you were looking through the library and you were looking at the gnomes, there's a whole bit about the gnomes, and the gnomes are hunted by the elves because the elves don't see them as anything more than just another animal in the forest. And elves actually really like gnomish tales. It's a delicacy to elves. And so like that kind of thing, when I'm talking about that and how the gnome, like the different bits that gnomes are used by, that elves use, like I will probably put all of that in its own folder. So that, because, you know, if you're reading about gnomes, you don't want to go, oh, look, the gnomes, they walk through the forest, they eat mushrooms, sometimes they eat mushrooms that make them see colours. And then just like the next paragraph is, so when the elves are chopping up the gnomes, they are after particular, you know, I don't want to, so I'm probably going to try and put that in a separate folder. Not necessarily that that's going to be like, I wouldn't necessarily class that as, I think the problem for me is I almost don't class that as extreme, but I think that's because I know what I'm thinking about in my brain. Just imagine Squire's massive library of naked gnomes in all sorts of spicy positions. Like, little bit, I appreciate like that. Do you know what the funny bit is about that? I was asked about that. I was asked about drawing spicy gnomes. I have been asked to do that. Now, I haven't really got a particular interest in doing that. It's not like, and it's not like it's something that like disgusts me or anything like that. I'm not like, oh, like at the end of the day, if someone were to commission me to do something like that, then have at it. I just wouldn't be able to do it on stream. Like, it would never get done on stream. But I have actually been asked. And I remember when I was asked about this, there was actually someone else who was just having a bit of a sketch and a doodle while they were watching my stream. And they did actually do. They did, and they're actually over on the Discord. They're over on the Discord. Someone did do some spicy gnomes, which I did say to them. I did say to the person who did the sketches of the spicy gnomes, I was like, you should. There's going to be people who will buy these. There are 100% people who will do these things. So no, there is not on my PC. There is not a folder of spicy gnomes. But equally, as I've tried to did I put it in here or did I take it out? Like, one of the things with like doing artwork and doing commissioned artwork and stuff, I'm just reading the notepad. I think I actually took it out. Was one of the other reasons for trying to put things into specific folders is this whole thing of there are things that you don't want to see, and it could be anything. Could be anything. Like, I know people who, if I put a load of the zombie content in that I've done, I know people who get vehemently angry about how ridiculous they think zombies are, which you know, people get like aggressively annoyed about certain types of fiction, and they don't want to talk about it, they don't want to see it. So it doesn't even have to be something extreme. It doesn't have to be something adult in nature. But so the idea of putting all these things into different folders is my point with putting things into different folders is the folders are going to be clearly labeled. So if you don't want to see something, don't click into that folder. But it doesn't. But if enough people want to see a particular thing, it can go into the library. It just has to go into an appropriate folder. Is kind of like that's what this README file's about. Essentially, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to cover myself before someone comes along and goes, why was that in the folder? All I wanted to learn about was the different types of mushrooms you've drawn, and there's other things in there. Oh no. So it's kind of like trying to cover that kind of thing. And then the other part of this README file, is talking about what people can use the library for, which again is kind of like a covering myself thing. Like, I'm absolutely up for people using this stuff for homebrew. I love the idea of people using it for homebrew. Just obviously I don't particularly want to see it being put into on a t-shirt or a book. Is what ideally I don't. That's not mine. Mana, good morning. Good morning. A little bit. Just keep your folders named as stuff in like taxes and funeral. But I need to reiterate, these things don't exist, and so are not going to be in the library. Like, because do you know, actually, stuff that would, when I say there isn't a not safe for work folder, there is. However, I only realised that potentially, so for anyone who's been here long term, I did a piece of artwork on stream, and I did it from beginning to end. And I thought it was completely safe. It was for a competition. I did a piece of artwork. And then after, like, you know, when I finished the artwork and I entered the competition, I showed it in a few other art discords. And I was like, hey, look at this. Look, I'm really proud of what I've done. And I was like, this is really safe. I'm really proud of what I've done. I put it in these things. And then people were replying going, you can't post that here. That's too not safe for work. And I was like, what do you mean it's too not safe for work? I was like, I did it on stream, and they were like, you're at risk of getting banned for drawing that kind of thing. So I suppose arguably there would be a not safe for work folder, but for things that I personally wouldn't class as not safe for work, because I did them on stream, so I obviously didn't think that. So maybe there would be a folder, but it's not going to be expansive, put it that way. But I might put things in there because, what I was saying at the beginning, people have different views of what they class as not safe for work or extreme. So like I've said here, like in terms of like the descriptions I've given of the folders, I've said like there's like a potentially like a not safe for work. There'll be an extreme gore or other sensitive topics. And obviously what people class as extreme is always going to vary. So this is kind of why I'm doing this folder system. Because I don't think there's anything. I don't think I've got any. Yeah, I've not got any artwork that I wouldn't be okay with grown-ups seeing. There's nothing that would make me go, oh God, I'm so embarrassed that I ever did that. I don't think I've got anything like that. But I also appreciate not everyone wants to see those kind of things. And for like, in terms of like, if people are going, what the hell did you draw that you weren't allowed to put into other places? It's actually in the not safe. It's the first image that was in the not safe for work art category on Discord, which I actually had to put there because Discord wouldn't let me post it. So Discord felt it was too risky. And I did it on stream. I just didn't think there was anything wrong with it. But anyway, so in terms of like, if you're there going, oh my god, what do you mean? What kind of things are you talking about? There's an example on Discord. But yeah, anyway. I'm wondering though, this notepad that I've written, maybe I need to... The problem I've got is I need people to read it. But I also appreciate if I present people with a wall of text, they're probably not going to read it. Max, good morning. Good morning, Max. Oh, Manny, you've been doing X4. I think we've talked about the X games before, haven't we? I don't think I have X4. I think I've got X3, and I never super got into them. In fact, I might even have more than X3. I might have the previous ones to that as well. A little bit. Some people thinking an ankle is not safe for work. Well, exactly. Yeah. So that kind of like is a good. That's a good way of describing what we're talking about, is in terms of like some people have very different scales of what they class as too much or too little. Right. Okay. So. But yeah, so the other bit is this. The problem I've got, right, hang on. Let's just for the sake of, right, we're just going to switch over to another screen just for 1 second. And then we'll come back to this gnome. This is the README file. This is the whole thing. And I feel like it's too long, which almost makes me kind of go, should I split it into multiple README files? But I have the problem of, if I split it into multiple README files, are people going to open each README file? I don't know. Maybe I should try and turn it into like a PowerPoint presentation slide. Possibly make it a bit more obvious. Yeah, maybe a notepad's the wrong way of doing this. Maybe a notepad is not helping my cause of encouraging people to read it. Do you know what? We're not going to give this guy. We're going to give this guy. He's going to have a mustache. And then he's going to have a goatee. So that's where the lips will be. So we'll have a goatee. And then what I'm going to do with the mustache and the goatee is they're going to be orange. They're going to be orange. And then that kind of fits the beak. That kind of covers the orange beak. The downside of having... I might try and make those really short, actually. If I make those really short, I kind of want to show his t-shirt. He's going to be wearing a t-shirt, and I'm thinking on the t-shirt it's going to just say, "I am a chicken." So actually, let's... And do you know what the best bit is about this little moustache and goatee? It doesn't matter if they look fake, because this guy's meant to be a master of disguise. So if they look like they're stuck on, that actually works in our favour. That actually works in our favour if they look like they're stuck on. So we're going to give them a short moustache and goatee. We've got the nose going on there. And then he's got to have, all right, so he's gonna, that'll be the head. Then oh, did I? I got rid of the wrong thing. I got rid of the wrong thing. Never mind. Never mind. Right, back over here. Back over here. Then switch layer. And if we switch layer, we get rid of the bit underneath. That'll be fine. That'll be fine. And then those two bits can go together. And then we just need to tidy up that bit around the mouth, and it'll be gravy. Chips and gravy. Oh, we're on an advert. We're on an advert right now. We should probably do that. Got 30 seconds. I should have tidied that up before I did that. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Never, 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 never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Never, never, never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Round that head off a bit. We back off. We're back from ads. There we go. Okay. Okay. And then he's going to have, clearly... oh, actually, maybe I won't give him a t-shirt. Maybe I'll do the... So there's like a police... There's like a police... you know, a lineup. A lineup where they have the little black placard with their name and number on it. You know, and they take like a police photo. Mugshot. Mugshot is the word I was after there. There's like a picture of him doing a mugshot. I might do that. Oh, actually, yeah. Why don't we do that? Why don't we do... Oh, that's a good point. I need to remember I've got an Amazon delivery turning up today. Let me know if the camera's too washed out. The windows, the curtains open right now, so that I can keep an eye out for if the Amazon guy turns up. I don't think it's too bad though. I think it looks okay. So yeah, coming back to the README file thing. Like, I do feel like I need to reiterate, because I feel like this is the daft thing. Is like having the very conversation of like confirming what is and isn't there makes it feel like I'm saying like there's a lot of that stuff there, and there's not. There's none. I mean, there's none right now because the library isn't set up. But like this is not like an indication of what the library is going to turn into. Like, the library is mostly going to be just the stuff. Just the idea is that it's supposed to end up being a more polished version of what we do on stream. That is what the purpose of the library is. But I do clarify that it will include things that I do off stream. I think my big thing is trying to get people to read it. Maybe I will split it in. Do you know what? Maybe I will split it into different things. Maybe I will split it into different files. Like, because some people, like that, I'll have a file labeled like use of the contents. And that'll make each one look. That would make each one look shorter, because I'm conscious right now. It just looks like a wall of text, and I expect most people would see that wall of text and go, "Screw that." You know, a bit like seeing a terms of service, isn't it? No one wants to read a terms of service. can his name be? What can his name be? Because feathers. Mushroom McGraw. No, Max, don't say wall of text. No, it's not meant to be a wall of text. But that's my concern, is I know people won't read a wall of text. I understand that people won't read a wall of text because I will unless it is a massive amount of Warhammer 40k lore, I will not read a wall of text. If all terms and conditions could be put in the context of a wall of if a wall of text could be turned into Warhammer 40k lore, and I somehow learn about the real world while reading Warhammer 40k lore, I'd get through so many terms and conditions. I really would. I might need to try and turn it into some kind of an infographic. That might be. I've got a couple of ideas. I can either just turn it into multiple files and hope that people read it, or try and turn it into an infographic. Lord Ilston, rename the file to "Do Not Read," and then people will definitely read. Yeah. If I leave the file in as "Do Not Read" and then go, oh, that file was meant to be deleted, it's not meant to be there, then you are correct, Lord Ilston. Loads of people will rush to see what was contained in that file. Also, good morning, Lord Ilston. Good morning. It's a bit like one of the problems with like trying to get. It's like on Kofi. On Kofi, obviously, you've got like a commission section, and you can have like people can obviously like select a service and hire you for a commission. But the downside is you can't. There's not really anywhere to adequately describe like what they can use a commission for, or you know, what, like, you know, like what rights do they have to the image when it's made and stuff. And then equally, what rights do I have to the image when it's made? And kind of the only way to do it on Kofi's commission section is kind of a wall of text, but you also appreciate that people aren't going to read a wall of text. Like before, it's one of the downsides of like the commission section on Kofi is you get more information after you've ordered than you do before. And that's a little bit frustrating because you don't necessarily want someone to order a commission, then find out that they can't do whatever they were planning on doing with it. Yeah, just give me the layer, thank you. Oops. Oh. Wait, I was on that layer and I couldn't... Oh god, what layer have I put you on? You're not on that layer. Oh, that's what... Okay. Yes, that actually makes more sense now I think about it. Yep. Okay, I think that's going to be Feathers McGraw. I think that's going to be Feathers McGraw. But obviously the gnomish version. Make him a bit taller. Like so. Then we're going to put him together. And then what I would like, that we'll use that, and we'll use that on a size 15 probably. Yes. I wonder. Actually, yeah, if I wanted to make it more public, let's, while I've got it in my brain, and I'm talking about it, if I... oh, I need to do the symbols, don't I? Do you know, I was on the to-do list. I've completely not included that we needed to do the membership symbols. like the militia and completely went out my brain that's the thing. Can I pin? See, that's an introduction. We switch over there. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, there's not really a good spot. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do what I want to do. I don't know if this is going to be doable. What I want to do in having like a README file before people become members. I think I might just have to... I might just have to accept that people might become members and then cancel afterwards once they've read the README. Or maybe I'll put it on... I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put it on the member... I'll put it on the actual member tiers description. Kind of like... I'll just put like a... I recommend you read the README file for the library, if that's before you become a member, and then people can just contact me for a copy of that. Maybe that's how I'll do it. Manny, you're going to go by Watermelon. Enjoy your quest. Good luck. Yana, question. Do the gnomes have ads in Gnome World? I don't know. I haven't put that much thought into it. What kind of... I mean, what are you thinking? Glowing Ball, good morning, Glowing Ball. Good morning, good morning. You mean like the paper ones we used to have? The cylindrical pods that used to stand around everywhere. Oh, you mean like so you mean like when you say like when you walk through a train station, and if you're talking about like cylindrical ones, you talk about ones that are... And like you'd see that on the corner of a street, and then it'd have like little like posters on it. Like that kind of thing. I mean, in terms of like physical advert, like leaflets and stuff, yeah, leaflets and stuff, absolutely. You'd have like there'll be things like, you know, there'd be like town criers, there'll be people with leaflets, potentially stuff like that. You know, there'd also be like message boards. It's not like when you see, you know, so maybe not when they're not a cylinder. Oops. And then, you know, just the same as a cylinder, but just held on with little tacks. So there'd be stuff like that as well. There'd be things like that. I mean, in terms of other advertisements, so if we were looking at the going way back, one of the things that I talked about with the gnomes being in the dwarven city, with the gnomes being so short, when they're in a city, it's not great for them, because like they get kicked and stuff. Because if you think about the fact they're 1 foot tall, they're like the same height as like a dog or a cat and stuff like that. And so in a really busy, bustling place, very easy for something that short to get kicked. And so one of the things that we had in the past, in fact, there we go, there he is, the beard oil salesman, Dr. Mumbleclips, who is our fantabulous beard oil. Dr. Mumbleclips and his fantabulous beard oil, also good for all ailments, injuries, cooking, and drains. So this man goes around selling his beard oil that can be used for many different things. But one of the things that I've talked about in terms of how gnomes interact with in cities and stuff is because they're so short. They've come into, and the idea kind of came to me from, you know, when you're walking through a busy city and you see a bunch of tourists in a group, and sometimes you'll see like the leader, and they'll have like an umbrella or they'll have a flag or something, and it's so you can see it above the hustle and bustle. I kind of imagine gnomes taking a bit of that approach, and so this guy, for instance, he's got this backpack on, which has got this flag. It's got this flag out the back, and obviously it's showing what he sells. So in effect, that's kind of an advertisement as well. And you might have lots of gnomes. You might, this guy might hire a bunch of younger gnomes who need money to just go around with these flags on their back and just walk around the city. And then if anyone asks them, they go, "Oh, he's Dr. Mumblepips. He's over on that street.
Do you have a flag?"
So there's this kind of thing. So yeah, adverts in that kind of ads in that kind of world. Yeah, the gnomes have their own kind of things that they do for that. If a gnome village has a message board, do people pin ads to it? So I don't know. So gnomish villages. I mean, we're talking about to a certain degree. We're talking about gnomish village. Like gnomish villages don't entirely exist anymore. Like there are some. That's not true. There is a gnomish settlement, but they're a bit weird. Which I realise I'm talking about people that you guys have no idea who I'm talking about. There is kind of a gnomish settlement, but they're very strange people. So in a gnomish, the thing with like gnomish settlements, when they were in the old forest, but the old forest doesn't exist anymore because it got burnt down. When they were there, they didn't necessarily congregate in a village, because the problem with a village is it's too easy to see. Like if you start having lots of houses together, it becomes easier to spot. So gnomes, while they had homes, they were all often concealed. They were concealed and hidden away. Gnomes knew where to find them, but they were often hidden and concealed away. So they weren't necessarily grouping together in the old forest. And so things like message boards wouldn't have really been there because that would have been out in the open. So gnomes are very social. So like they would regularly just, like talk to their neighbors and stuff. Not that their neighbor was directly next door. Like, they'd have to go for a little bit of a walk to find their neighbor. But they would be very social, and they would talk to their neighbors because they were so hidden. They obviously had no idea what was happening with each other, so they would regularly travel to visit each other. But they didn't have necessarily villages as such. In the dwarven city though, where the gnomes are, that beard oil salesman with like the flag on his back, that's probably going to be the more common thing. There will be leaflets. There will be leaflets in the dwarfish city. But yeah, I don't know how necessarily I'd make those special. I don't know how I'd necessarily make them gnomish. But it can go on the request list. It can definitely go on the request list as something that maybe we have to try and figure out. I just need to have a proper purpose for them. Maybe there's gnomes. Sorry, Lord Ilston, I don't know if you said that during my little bit of a monologue. Maybe there's gnomes who carry around advertising boards, over their shoulder. So sorry, yeah. So like that dude with the flag, that's not far off what that is. And that all started from them wanting to basically not get kicked and nudged while they were running around underneath everyone's knees. So those things started off as just a, hey, look, I'm down here, please don't kick me. And then some more entrepreneurial gnomes started putting things like flags on them with adverts and stuff to show what they sold. A Gnome World leaflet. We're doing, okay, a 15-minute sketch of a Gnome World leaflet. Okay, we'll yeah. I'll do a bit more of this, and maybe while I'm doing a bit more of this, I'll try and have a bit of a think of what that might look like. Glowing Boar going to Kofi. Go to Kofi, yeah. Oh, do you know what? If you would, how bad is that? If you'd waited about 10 seconds later, the bot was just going to be like, I'm showing you this link anyway. If you've got any questions about Kofi, ask me here. I realize that Kofi is not quite exactly what it's meant to be yet at the moment. I am trying to rectify that. You're lonely. You need more people to join you as a member. Hey, the more people who join. Do you know what? I am in a terrible point right this moment. Absolutely concerned the hell out of me with the fact that we got more members last week, because, and this is not, I have spoken to this person many times, so this is in no way like diminishing what they have done, but like Thumbs has been a member on Kofi, I think, for a year, like from whenever I started it, which is probably about a year and a half ago, probably now. And actually Thumbs was a member on Patreon before that. And so I do talk to Thumbs, and I have said in the past, you know, like I feel really bad that I haven't delivered on all the rewards, which is why I've now changed the rewards. The rewards I had previously on Kofi, I was just not delivering on, so I felt I had to change them because they weren't appropriate. But like Thumbs just like supporting the stream, he's not specifically going for the Kofi stuff. And because there was just him, and I knew he wasn't too fussed about the Kofi stuff, I hadn't set that much up. Now that we've got 3 more members on Kofi, I'm like, shit. I need to dedicate. I really do need to dedicate more time to Kofi just to keep it up to date and having stuff on it. And that's part of the reason why I'm doing the library, because at least with the library, there's something that's easy for me to throw like work in progress stuff into. But yeah, the more people who go on Kofi, the more I can dedicate time to Kofi. Which is ultimately what I want to do. Like, I want Kofi to replace my digital marketing work. That's the big aim. Yeah. Also, to clarify, while I'm saying all of that, please don't. This is not me going. You need to join. Only join if you're in a position to do it, and only join if you want the things that Kofi membership's going to provide. If you don't want those things, don't do it. You know, don't do it if you don't get anything from it. But yeah, I think at the moment with the memberships that I've got on Kofi, realistically, I need to be, and this is not including the stuff that's done on stream. Realistically, I need to be dedicating a day each month to Kofi. That's kind of where Kofi's at right now. And that's not including stream stuff, because obviously stream stuff is extra. I'm on the wrong brush. Give me that. Oh, that's not straight, is it? Look at that little wobble there. Rubbish. Ambro, good morning. Good morning, Ambro. We've got an advert coming up in 5 minutes. And also, never forget that even, you know, if you're not a Kofi member, if you're not a Twitch subscriber, but you watch the channel, you're still contributing. contributing. More people here. More people see stuff. If you really want to tag it in as well, there's the generates ad revenue. Everyone contributes in their own way, and that's awesome. I'm not really happy with what I've done with that curve. I don't like that curve. That curve is not pleasing to my eyes. Do you know what? We've listened to this tavern music so much over the last few weeks. Let's switch off this tavern music. Let's go to one of my firm favourites. I might cut and paste this. That might be how I do this. I might cut and paste this because I'm happy with how this side's turning out. To like when I'm doing these bits here, I'm not loving them as much. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's get all this side done. I should have actually done those with smaller. Those should be done with smaller lines. Thick lines for the main bits, and then thinner lines for the details. So we'll come back to that here. We'll come back to that eye as well. But anyway, right, okay, so we've got a 15-minute sketch to do at some point. Let's have a think. Let's have a think. So if a gnome was doing a gnomish leaflet. Now, what's going to make the thing I'm trying to think of is what's going to make it gnomish? What's going to make it gnomish? I suppose if it's an advert, then it could be the natural thing would be go for something mushroom related. Oops, that's not good. So let's start from this end. Don't like that either. Maybe a gnomish, maybe some kind of a gnomish gardening service. Yeah, what would make... do you know what? I feel like if gnomes were handing out leaflets, they'd have to be like massive in comparison to the gnome. Because if they're doing it in the Dwarven City, then they're handing them out to well, there's not just dwarves in the Dwarven City, there's all kinds of people in the Dwarven City. Are we back in adverts? Oh, I completely missed. Apologies. I completely missed that we'd gone into an advert, so I've just been whittering away to myself, and not everyone's going to be able to see it. Let's scroll up. That's what we're saying. And Ambro, you're not really here. You got an inspector lurking around. I see. Well, just show them the channel anyway. I need more viewers. Show them the channel anyway, and just tell them that this is something that you watch when you're on your break. Amber, you got a dice you ordered. They look nice, but instead of a D20, you got an extra D12. Please show photos. I realised that dice, like, I can't remember where we were discussing it, but at some point in the past, we were looking at a website that sold custom dice. Or I say custom dice, special dice. And I remember looking at them and going, I really want some of them. I don't really have a good justification for buying some of them, but I wanted some of them. Because they looked really nice. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so the gnomes. Gnomes when like having gnomish leaflets. I feel like the gnomes would be giving out leaflets that would be like oversized for them. Maybe they'd have to have 2 leaflets. Maybe they'd have to have a leaflet that was for their folk. And then they'd have to have one that was for, like, the other people. So, like, you'd have to have, like, a leaflet. You'd have a leaflet for the gnomes that was, like, this big. And it had, you know, just, like, writing that was so tiny. Writing so tiny only a gnome could read it. And then in the same person would have to be giving out leaflets with giant text. Like that for basically the normies. So they'd have to have two types of leaflets. We might this might be a gnome. I might actually turn this into a gnome. I know it was meant to just be specifically for the leaflet, but I might actually turn it into a full-on gnome. And we might spend more than 15 minutes on it. Just because we've not done any gnomes for a while. And the gnomes, people like the gnomes. Actually, while I'm on that, let's just take the opportunity just to tidy that up a bit. Oh, look how wobbly that was. Didn't do very good with that line, did I? Terrible line. Terrible. And we're going to taper that off anyway, so maybe we can make that look like it was meant to be. We can get rid of a bunch of the... Let's do that. On the subject of Kofi, again, to clarify, because I feel like sometimes this does feel like I talk about these things because they're obviously the things that we're doing, but I don't want anyone to feel like they're obliged to do these things. Just these things are happening. That doesn't mean people have to find a way to be, do them. The idea is that we're currently running a challenge. We're currently running a challenge at the moment, and it is a challenge. So it doesn't mean that the challenge, if it doesn't have to happen because it's a challenge. If it was easy to do, then it wouldn't be a challenge, would it? But we're currently running a Summer Santa challenge just over there. Oh, I did that right first time. Normally I start doing this and going, look at this over here. Right first time. We're doing a Summer Santa challenge, which is just a bit of fun. Just a bit of fun. Next week, I'll be dressing as Santa. I say dressing as Santa. I'll be dressing in festive attire, and we will have a festive themed overlay on screen. Because, and I want to say, even though this isn't the justification at all, this isn't the reason we're doing it at all, but in Australia they do summer Christmas. So if anyone asks, that's like the more reasonable reason we're doing it. The less reasonable reason we're doing it is because we just thought it'd be funny. So we're running the Summer Santa competition, which is that I just have to do during summer, during warm time, I have to be dressed in Christmas attire, which is obviously jumpers. I have ordered a t-shirt. I ordered a t-shirt yesterday, just in case it ends up so warm that I really do have to ditch the jumper. I've got a Christmas t-shirt. And the other reason for doing it is just to draw more attention to the Kofi page, because the Kofi page is really important to me. So that's the other reason for doing it. But it is just a very silly thing. So this is not, don't anyone look at that and go, we have to do this because it's really important. It's not important at all. It's not important at all. It's just a bit of silly advertising. But a reminder that this tomorrow's stream will essentially be the last stream. Will be the last stream before that challenge closes. And then next week will be, at the moment, Thursday and Friday. Thursday and Friday are the days that's happening. How about edible leaflets? We could do edible leaflets. We could do leaflets. But I mean, the leaflets naturally will be made out of mushrooms, so I suppose they would be edible. That would 100% be a thing. The leaflet, the gnomish leaflets, will be made of mushroom. I don't know why I'm going into so much detail on these knuckles. This doesn't need to happen. This doesn't need to happen at all, but we're doing it. Omo, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you are well and ready for another day ahead. Welcome in. We're actually doing something even more arty than I have done last week. We're doing just more artwork. I feel like I need to prove that I do actually do artwork on this channel. So we are doing some artwork today. We're doing a gnomish. We're doing one of my gnomes, which was a prize that someone won last month. We're just trying to do the line art right now. Spray paint the hair white. I think there is enough white that I don't need to spray paint any of me white. I'm good. I'm good with the amount of white that is in my face. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I was talking about. So the challenge tomorrow is the last stream related to the Summer Santa challenge, in terms of like the amount we've raised. I'll leave it open over the weekend, and then on Monday we'll have like a final tally. Because I think, it'll be after that. Never mind. So yeah, there'll be a final tally on Monday. At the moment, Summer Santa will be 2 days, and then whatever's left over will go towards. Whatever's left over will go towards the gnome. I'll roll it over into the next gnome giveaway goal. I don't think there's enough for a gnome giveaway this month. In fact, what is 7%? What is 7% of? It's definitely not the amount, but four times 7 is 28. So 28 quid. There you go. I can do maths. 28 quid will roll over to the next gnome giveaway, if nothing else happens on Kofi between now and then. Otherwise, I'll obviously recalculate it. With a lot of the gnome giveaway stuff, I do tend to roll them over a couple of months. It's like I tend to do the gnome giveaway for 2 months. And while we've been focused on the Summer Santa this month's excess, I'll roll over into next month's gnome giveaway, because the gnome giveaway that was happening this month would have rolled over into next month anyway. I hope that makes sense. And then ignoring gnome giveaway. I just realised I've done these and I'm going to overwrite them. That was silly. I'll fix that. The gnome, not the gnome giveaway, forget the gnome giveaways, talked about the gnome giveaways. So Summer Santa, and then Monday we'll calculate if there's potentially an extra day, but I'm not anticipating there being one. So it's going to be Thursday and Friday for Summer Santa. Then the other thing we've got, which is nothing to do with Kofi, so I realise I've talked a lot about Kofi today, so apologies, we'll talk about something else. So the other thing that's nothing to do with Kofi, although it is, I've just realised as I said that it is, because we hit the gnome goal on Kofi last month, one of the other things that happens is not just the gnome giveaway, but we trigger a forfeit. Or rather a community goal to have a forfeit. And that was triggered and that was achieved. So next week, we also have an extra stream. We have an extra stream next week, and that stream will be on Saturday, next Saturday, so the 27th, and that will be where I'm playing a forfeit game. One thing I did realise when I set this goal up was the forfeit doesn't always have to be a computer game, and I didn't really give you guys the option. That's a bit silly, wasn't it? Like, it can be a movie. It can be a movie, though I suppose to a degree we've kind of got the movies covered, haven't we, with the channel point redemptions right now. Although I think the forfeit for the movie, because this all triggered, right? This all came from when you guys sent me off to see Barbie. That was where the forfeit thing came from. I don't know if there's anything even at the cinema at the moment. And I'm sure there is, otherwise cinemas would have gone out of business. But I'm not even sure what's at the cinemas. But I should have included that in the forfeit list. I'll remember that for next time. At the moment, the forfeit looks like it's going to be Phoenix Point. So that's what we'll be playing on the Saturday. And that'll be delightful. Oh wait, not on the eyebrow. No, I don't like those. I was trying to make them more shapely, but I think they just look silly next to everything else. And when I say it's on the Saturday, it'll be Saturday morning. So what I'll aim to do is I'll probably aim to do about a 6-hour stream for that community goal thing. The other bit I need to work out, actually, I was thinking about this, was because it's going to be 6 hours, I don't know how far we'd get into the game. So I'm wondering, and I might put this on Discord, if we are doing Phoenix Point, I'm wondering whether maybe just to load up the from when we originally streamed the game, load up the save file from then, so that we're not just doing it from the beginning. I don't actually know if that'll work with the DLC. I don't know if I'd have to start a new one for the DLC to be active, but that could be an option. Because I don't feel we'll get too far into the game after 6 hours. Okay, is that no, that's the sketch. That's the sketch underneath. Alright, so let's go. Oh, I need to get... Oh, wait, the ear. I've not finished off the ear. Oh, the eye. I've not done that either. What am I playing at? What am I playing at? Right, ear. Ear, which, because it's an inside detail, needs to be a bit thinner. For anyone who's curious about gnomish eyes, because I realise there's some people who were here who weren't here when we originally were like developing gnomes. Gnomes are based on, and this actually came up last week when I was talking about gnomes. Someone went, "What gnomes? What are we talking about?" I was like, "These are my gnomes. They're not gnomes from somewhere else, which is why they're a bit different." Gnomes in the world, in this fantasy world, are essentially evolved from mice. And so they have certain mice characteristics. I don't know if anyone picked up on the fact that when I was talking about gnomes being hunted by elves before. I was talking about the elves particularly like to hunt gnomes for their tails. They're very short tails. They don't have tails like as long as like a mouse. Like their tails have got shorter and shorter, but they still have tails. And elves, one of the reasons elves hunt gnomes is because the tail is a bit of a delicacy, bit of like a medicine. You know, like when people take like tiger bones and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of that approach. But the elves have that with gnomes. And so yeah, so gnomes in this world were elevated, which is the term we're using. So the gods elevate the well, I'm still not decided if I'm calling them gods or not. They elevated the mice to a level where they've ended up with the gnomes. And so yeah, the gnomes have little tails, and that's why their eyes don't have like they don't have like a pupil and an iris and stuff. That's why I don't draw them that way, because when you look at mice, they kind of just have like little, like to look at them, they just have like little beady eyes. So that's why the gnomes' eyes are done the way I do them. And at some point, I will have to draw. At some point, I will have to draw a gnome with a tail. Just the way and when I say the tails are short, the tails are really short. The tails are really short. Like they don't reach the ground or anything. So whenever we've drawn the gnomes up to this point, they've always been drawn. From the front. So we never actually get to see their tail. It's only like a little like stubby tail. It's not like a, as I say, not like a full length like mouse's tail. Oh, I've not done that either. What am I doing? What am I doing? Half a job, Annie. Come on now. It's only a little line. There you go. That's all that needed to be there. So, this is going to be a pain. This is going to be a pain, but it's all right. It's all right. Let's keep that bit of beard. Then we'll come down there. Then we'll go up there, and then we'll come through around there. Then we're going to zoom in. And which button have I got this set as? I think it's this one. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. But that's too much. I've taken too much. Which I think means this button. Yes. Yes, I've remembered the buttons that I have set up. Fantastic. Let's make sure we're not taking away anything extra. There we go. Nice. Nice. Right, copy. Copy to a new layer. Deselect. Take you. Cheat. Cheat with copy function. Bring his face together there. Then the beard I want to delete from, oh no. The beard I want to delete from here. No, not the nose. Oh, not that either. Wait, okay, it must just be this bit. Oh, it's the little tufts. Hang on, I can do this easier. If I do that... No, actually, wait, no. if I do that. Hang on. Hang on. Blip. Bring that over there. Match up the nose. Maybe. Ah! No, come on. You were nearly there. Just... There we go. Right, so... I want to remove... this side. I want to remove... Right, I want to remove this side up to there. Then I want to switch layers. And I want to remove that. To there. Still not quite right, that though, is it? No, I've removed the wrongs. Actually, maybe that's a better way of doing it. Maybe I should do it that way. Why do I do that? So I know I want that to disappear. And then I want that... No. So then I want... Then I want to keep that on that side, which means I want to remove... I want that. Brain is not braining. So I want to keep... because that's that. So I want that to go. And then I just need to do a little tidy up there. Let's just go with that. Let's just go with that. It's fine. It's fine. It's all good. It's all good. Then I can bring those layers together. Wait, can I? Now that I've just said that, can I bring those layers together? Yeah, it's just the beard that needs tidying up. Boo-doo-doo-doo. Let's go with that. And that I deleted. Yeah, I deleted that. I think that's right. I think the beard is right now. Hello, Ash. Hello. Yes, we are coming. The Feathers McGraw, or rather Mushroom McGraw, is coming together. Slowly but surely. I think, Do you know what? I might. These lines, this line certainly is not straight enough. So I think I'm gonna get rid of it. And we're gonna put it in. We're gonna put it in another way. In another way. By just doing that. Better. Better. Well, I don't really know why I've put that line on a curve anyway, because it just makes everything harder to work with. I don't know why I've done that. Time we on? Oh, okay, we've got a good chunk of this gnome done. We might have to finish him off next week, but we'll get the majority of him done. So that's not bad. Do you know, if I'd started this from first thing, we might have actually got to the colouring today. We might get the colouring. And do you know what? Actually, the colouring on this guy is quite simple. So we might even get the colouring done. Because that is basically the line art. I'm not going to lie, not the best. Not the best ears I've ever done. I must confess, not the best ears I've ever done. Oh, is this going to make this all pixely? So I'd like to make it a little bit bigger. This is going to be a terrible decision. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Forget that. Go back to nice and smooth. Smooth. Yeah, actually, do you know what? On the basis that we're getting onto the colour now, we might get this all done today. Because he's quite simple in his colouring, isn't he? You know, so if I just nick like an orange... And then
a new challenger has entered the arena.
Sycophantix just followed.
Sycophantix, thank you very much for the follow. Yeah, that'll do as a. So I figure we've gone with a short. We've gone with a short moustache and beard, just because it makes him seem. I feel like it makes him seem a bit more sinister, like he's someone who changes his appearance. Which obviously that's what Feathers did, wasn't it? Feathers was all about changing their appearance. So this feels like they're trying to hide their identity a bit. And then I also felt like I felt like this fitted a bit better with the beak. I also, at one point, I was going to have a T-shirt. I was going to have the gnome wearing a T-shirt that said "I am a chicken" on it, but instead we've gone with the police, gone with like his mugshot at the police station. And then his T-shirt. So we get the T-shirt done. We're in an advert. Well, we've got an advert in a few minutes. All right, we've still got more to do. Give me your newts and nobody gets hurt. Oh my. Hello, hamster. How are you doing? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm tempted to make that T-shirt a bit darker. I realise I've literally just grabbed the colour from a picture of the penguin, but you know, I'll tell you what, I'll do the police department board first, and then I'll see how that looks, because obviously black next to black will lose, and also, do you know, actually we lose the line art as well if we do black. So it can't really be black. But we will make the police board a little bit darker. Which really, I should have done the letters. Oh, I might redo the letters. I might redo the letters in white. Because then it fits with a police mugshot board, doesn't it? Not sure what colour to do with shoes. Because Feathers has just got their feet, haven't they? Which I'm not entirely sure why Feathers' feet are the colour that Feathers is. Like, penguin, I don't know what colour Penguin's feet are. We might look it up. We might look up what colour Penguin's feet are. Yeah, we need to put those on a white background. Okay, and then obviously the most important part. Oh, we're just going into adverts. Glowing Boy, you wouldn't know what a mugshot board looks like. Look, I know what they look like from pictures. I know what they look like from pictures, that's all. I'm not a criminal. what a headline that could be. Streamer outs himself as criminal by knowing what a mugshot board looks like. I'm sure someone would believe that as well. You know what a mugshot board looks like. You must be a criminal. The best bit is it would be someone who'd go. It'd be someone who like watches crime dramas, and so they know what a mugshot board looks like as well. We've got ads. And then gnomish faces. Can't remember what level of skin color I gave them. Just give them something like. We'll see how that looks. We'll put this in and we'll see how it looks. I like that. I'm gonna go grab a colour from a previous gnome. Have I still got the dude open? Feels really. Hang on, I don't think I even like that. What was I doing with your face? What was going on with your face? You had too much beard oil on your face, mate. That's what you've done. Let's find. What did I do for you? Is this the colour of the faces I used to do? I don't. It does something. Doesn't something looks off to my eyes? Not sure I like this. I realise I drew these yeah, these don't have a line art, do they? Okay. That'll do. That'll do. I suppose one of the things I've got to think about is when I'm the note, like when it comes to like the skin tone and stuff, is gnomes that are above ground are going to have a different skin tone to the ones who live mostly below ground. Same with the dwarves. Like I imagine a lot of the dwarves who live underground for all, if not the vast majority of their lives, they're going to have very, very pale skin. And then the gnomes will have been there for long enough that I think that will start to impact them too. But gnomes that have been, maybe gnomes that have spent more time above ground, they'll have their more natural forest look. At some point I don't know, what I'll probably do is I'll probably work out a colour chart, because obviously I'm no good, my eyes don't see colours correctly. So I'll probably, like, at some point I'll spend some time working out like a proper colour chart for it, so that I don't have to think about it every time. Are ads still going? Oh no, ads are definitely not still going on. Ads are definitely not still going on. Thank you, thank you. And then one of the other things I need to consider is the gnomes. Well, actually, this applies more to the dwarves. But when the dwarves are mining underground, I'm wondering if they come into contact with. It's something I need to double check on, actually, because it might just be complete science fantasy. But I just haven't got around to reading up on it, is all. And that's kind of like how much skin tone and pigmentation can be impacted by radiation. Because if the gnomes are digging underground, like, and we've talked about this with the elf territory. Oh, look at that. We talked about this with the elf territory, how the elves didn't want to dig in certain areas, which is part of why they had slave miners. Because they didn't want to dig in certain areas due to like radiation and stuff. And so like those, I've read, do you know, I think this might just be a Warhammer thing. This just might be a Warhammer 40k thing. But they talk about how like exposure to radiation causes like darker skin pigmentation. And I need to check that, because that's potentially going to happen with the dwarves as well. So like the dwarves, it's like you'll have essentially the guys who don't go above ground because they get no sunlight have very pale skin. That feels a bit blue. That feels a bit blue rather than white. But then in really deep down in the dwarf mines, if they're near radioactive material, then actually those guys might end up having a much darker pigmentation to their skin, because the radiation triggers a reaction. But as I say, I've only ever read about that in Warhammer 40k, so I don't know whether that is just like a Warhammer 40k thing, or whether that's actually true in the real world. Would the underground one be dirtier, maybe redder or bluer, because the blood under their skin would be more visible? Yeah, so I mean, one of the other things I want to factor in as well is the dwarves who are underground, and the gnomes, because there are gnomes with them. They're obviously going to be more reliant on food that's grown underground as well, so the mushrooms. And so I want to think about potentially how that might change their skin colour as well. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, that's just a thing. Now, so we were talking before. So Emperor penguins have black feet, and yeah, it depends on the type of penguin. Okay, I might just try and go with a. Because again, if we go too dark, then we lose the line art, and we don't really want to lose the line art. So we might just do this. I need to sneeze. I'm back. my hay fever. I get hay fever really late. I don't actually know what triggers my hay fever, but I seem to get my hay fever like late in the season. Mine kicked in literally this week. It's not been too bad. Okay, and then I said I was going to do and we'll do this on a separate layer so that when the line art's there. Oops. It'll be there. Tidy up that W a bit in a more. Sweet. Sweet. Actually, yeah. I said I was going to do that, didn't I? Let's, yeah, just up to the edge. So we just do that bit. In fact, let's make that sure that's a definite hard line there. Marvelous. Marvelous. Right. Okay. Give me one moment. I just realised I'm not actually taking a break this morning, have I? I should have done that. I should have taken a break, but I'll be back in just 2 minutes. I'm literally just going to go blow my nose, not taking a full break. There we go. No, I can't hear now. Can't hear now, but that's fine. Right, so if we're turning this into... I'm trying to turn this into one of the proper things. We need one of these. We need one of these. Let's grab... Do I have something called border? It's been so long since I've opened one of these. It's not you, is it? It's not you. Is it you? Okay, let's nick that. You can go away. Oh, it's on a different scale. Nope. That's that corner. That's in. Yeah, that'll do. Boom, 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 boom. Come here. Come here. Come here. There you go. Actually, why don't we do it like that? Why don't we do it like that? Put you there. Put you there. And you back up like that. And then those. Is that the one I usually use? That looks about right. That looks about right. Not sure if I like those arrows. I might change those arrows. I don't think I like them. Oh no! Oh, I completely missed that. Thanks. Thank you, Thumbs. Thank you, Thumbs. I don't even know what was deleted there. I'm sure it was grossly inappropriate. Or it was just one of those ones going, "Hey, buy the best viewers." Do you want the best viewers? You can get them from this link. Though don't ever think that's what they are, because they're just a load of bots. I'm intrigued now. What did they do? What did they do? What did they say? Oh, I don't even get to see, because they've been banned. They have been banned. I don't even get to see the message anymore. It must have been deleted by Twitch as well. It must have been banned by Twitch, so it's got rid of whatever they did say. But thank you, Thumbs, for being in the background and keeping things going. Not the best. Cheap. It feels weird. Not that. So was it cheap? Was it cheap rather than best? Okay. Good morning, sponsor. Sky, do you know of the gnome beers? You got 4 yesterday. I am unaware of gnome beers, but I hope you enjoy them. I'll tell you what, we'll still sign this bearded squire. That is way too big. That is way too big. At some point, I'm probably going to stop signing things bearded squire, though. As part of the whole plan of having a website. I might start signing them differently. Well, I've not decided yet, so we'll do that for now. Right, there you go. Design board, Gnomish McGraw. We actually got that all done in one stream. I haven't done a fully finished piece of art. We've actually done a whole piece of artwork in a single stream. I hope it's everything you ever dreamed of, Ash. Like when you were going through life and people said, what are your dreams and aspirations? You went, even as a child, like, when you put down, and most people wrote like fireman and doctor and soldier and all that kind of stuff. I hope that you wrote, one day I want to be watching a bearded squire stream and him do a gnome version of McGraw. I hope that is what you wrote down. I'll send you a copy so that you can keep it for your heart's content. What's going on there? Oh, okay, yeah. Just Amazon telling me they're delivering things. That's fine. That's good, because I ordered them. You love it. Good. I ordered. Do you know what? When you gave me that description, I didn't actually know what I was going to draw. It's like I was looking at. I think it was a picture very similar to that one, and I was like, how the fuck am I supposed to turn that into a gnome? How am I going to turn that into a gnome? It's all right though. It's all right. I might get rid of those arrows though. I don't know how in love with the arrows I am. Maybe if I do those again, I might have to try and do some more appropriate arrows. Just something a bit more stylized. Yeah, so that happened. Now, how much time have we got? Oh, we've got 5 minutes. We've got 5 minutes. So I think what we'll do, we'll keep the sketch. We'll keep the 15-minute sketch thing for Monday. And so we'll do that 15-minute sketch on Monday. As I say, I'm probably going to do that I might do that as like a full-on, like full gnome, just like a gnome who just like a little guy who goes around giving the leaflets out. And then we'll obviously try and have a close-up of them. So yeah, we'll keep hold of that when we've got more time. And I've got it in the rewards queue. So it's in the rewards queue, so I'm leaving it there so that I remember it. Because I do look at the rewards queue every day for that reason, so that we don't lose anything or anything goes missing. Yeah, so that was that. How did we? Okay, what did we do? We're not ending right this second. We're not ending right this moment. But let's just go back to my to-do list. What have we achieved? Okay, so Ash's gnome is done. We talked about the zombies in the news, so that was good. We did talk a little bit about the library, though. I think, do you know what I'm probably going to do with that? I think what I'm going to do is we kind of did that. I'll tell you what, we'll put a dotted line. We'll put a dotted line through it because we kind of did it, but there still need to be more to talk about. We didn't touch Souls and Magic. We didn't even touch that, so that's going to have to be for another day. And Thumbs is Bard, which I feel I just need to confirm I have not forgotten about. I've not forgotten about at all. We'll come back to that at some point because it does need to get finished. The companies thing we just didn't really get anywhere with. That just didn't have a satisfying conclusion. I've still not decided on what I'm going to call them. So yeah, so the souls. I think souls. In fact, I'll tell you what. Well, we got the end of the stream. So in terms of souls and magic, we talked about the fact that mana exists. Mana exists, and it can, depending on how much of a concentration of it there is, it might form a soul, which is kind of a sentient being in terms of as much of a sentient being as you can be when you're made of mana, or it can be used for spells. One thing I think I have decided on, so like when we talked about it before, like souls becoming part of people. I think a soul is actually going to be separate to people. I think it's going to be something that kind of connects itself to your body, but it's not going to be you. You are going to be separate to a soul. And I think I'm going to kind of describe a soul as almost like the subconscious part of you whispering to you. And so some people get better at communicating with souls. And I think that's going to be kind of like the thing of, people like do things like meditation and stuff. And then when they do meditation and allow themselves to kind of relax and listen to themselves, what they actually find out is they're communicating with a soul. And which is and it's with them, but it's not them. So you're going to have, mana's going to split into souls and this is going to require this requires focus to use, whereas this is sentient, and then So a soul is separate from a person. It's you are not the same thing, but it's almost like a symbiotic relationship, I think, is what I'm going to be describing it as. Like a soul will want to encourage you to do things that essentially like draw more mana towards you, live a life, because souls rely on mana being drawn to them. They want you to be focused on things, because if you're focused on something, it draws mana towards you. Even if you're doing something that's not necessarily a spell, you're drawing mana towards yourself. So souls are interested in you living a life, and potentially living a life for a long time, because it's easier for them. Like, there's going to have to be a thing with them kind of attaching themselves to a person, which is going to possibly be draining upon them. Like, that might be draining, so staying with the same person for a long time might be a thing. But souls... captured souls can be broken. Like, not broken from the point of like broken mentally. Again, it's a bit of a weird thing because we talk about something without a physical form, but a soul can be broken mentally. To do your bidding. Or it might agree to. So this is one of the things. It's like if you can commune with your soul better, you'll be able to do spells easier, because the soul will try and help you do the spell. Or alternatively, they can be broken, and this is going to be. And so when we're thinking about enchantments. When we think about enchantments are going to be souls and crystals, which is most likely going to come from here. They're most likely going to be, so enchantments are most likely going to be captured souls that have been broken to do a specific, like, be focused on doing a specific spell. You might get one that really that might agree to be an enchantment, but it's going to be unlikely. And so spells obviously require focus from a person. But what this also means is enchantments are a little bit taboo. Well, some enchanted items are going to be taboo, because there's going to have to be some way of proving that the soul that's doing the enchantment wants to be doing it. So that was where I was going with this stuff. I'm kind of getting a bit more on this, and then I've still got to work out potions, whether potions can be a thing in this world or not. At the moment they can't, but I've got some ideas on how they might work. Oh god, we're going into adverts soon. Sorry, Ashimir. Wait, zombies. Yeah. So right, Ash. I posted it on the Discord. It's a little bit of a joke, but there's a pharmaceutical company, a lab, that is testing drugs which extend your lifespan, and they're planning on, like, it's part of, like, it's a whole thing where they're trying to make you, basically they're trying to make you live longer. And I was saying that I've got like a zombie story buried in all my other stories, and the basis of that story was a pharmaceutical company breaking into the beauty industry, and they engineer a virus that is based around increasing your beauty standards and making you live longer. And so when I saw that story in the news yesterday, I was like, this is how you get zombies. So that's all the zombies were. Sponsor, did I order gnome tea? I've not ordered any gnome tea, sponsor. No gnome tea. Goldpoke, who plays Bard in this day and age? Do you know what? Maybe no one. Maybe no one, because really, really unfortunately for Thumbs, I've taken so long to do this commission that Thumbs is quite possibly not even playing a Bard anymore. I mean, the same thing happened with Rando. By the time I think I'd finished doing Rando's commission, and which is right down below now, by the time I'd finished his commission, he'd actually finished the campaign, and so that character didn't exist anymore. So you never know. You never know. Goldpoke, doesn't this system make it more likely that magic items are sentient at a certain power point? Yes. Yeah, 100%. So something that I really like in Warhammer 40k, and so I'd like to expand on the idea and kind of take it in my own direction, is I really like in 40k you have demon hosts. You have demon hosts, and this was also part of where the 7 pact thing came from that I talked about previously. And so demon hosts, demon is, for anyone who doesn't know what demon host is a demon, and yes, I am using the old spelling because I like it, a demon captured in a vessel. Human body. And so the idea of this kind of thing, and the reason why they do this in 40k, is because demons have no material form, they can only be so powerful in the material world. And so when they bind them to a human body, it basically gives them an anchor point in the material world. It also means that the demon can't run away. So there are two reasons for making demon hosts in 40k. One is so that you always know where the demon is, because the majority of people cannot truly kill a demon. There's very few people that could truly kill a demon, and so all you can really do is banish them back to the warp, and then they come back after like 1,000 years or something, which is no good because that means in 1,000 years you've got to fight them again. And so what some people do is they capture that demon inside a vessel, inside a living being, which unfortunately means that living being is tortured for the rest of their life as their psyche is pushed aside to one part of their brain, and the demon basically inhabits the rest, and the demon controls the body, but that person is still there. They're just pushed away in a little corner of their mind, and the demon controls. But the way a demon host body is made is it's got lots of like wards and stuff on it, so that it can't do anything, but it's captured inside the body. And then, so that the idea of that is that you always know where the demon is. Sometimes they do it with weapons. Sometimes they do it with items. But it's I think if I remember correctly, it's easier to do with a living being than it is to do with an inert item. So, because like there's demon weapons and stuff, and demons get captured inside weapons. But then the other reason to do this is because while you're binding the demon to the body, have we just gone into an ad? We've just gone into ads. All right, let's stop a second. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Back in 2 minutes. got thumbs, it's fine. The campaign's already 4 years old. Oh my god, does this character even exist anymore? Does this... Does the character... Please tell me the character still exists. Like, when you say it's 4 years old, does that mean the campaign is still going? I hope so. Time to do an ad dance. Let's do an ad dance. Yeah, ad dance. Let's do the ad dance. We've got 10 seconds left of potential adverts. Potential adverts for another 5 seconds. 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. We're back. We're back. We're back in the world. We're back in the world. Right. So, yeah. So demon hosts get captured in beings, and so yeah, glowing ball. It is easier to do with a psyker. So it is easier to do because so a being that has a soul is essentially a door or a gateway from the immaterial to the material realm. Anyone who has a soul, but obviously the brighter your soul is, the stronger you are as a psyker, the bigger the gate. The bigger the gate, the easier it is to find the gate. So yeah, you could, if you use a strong psyker as a host, it's easier to make them, but you can do it with anyone who's got a soul. And so, but the other reason, so as I said, like people sometimes will capture demons because they want to know where that demon is. And so then they'll put that demon host in prison so that they always know where that demon is. Terrible for the person who's been used as a demon host, but it is what it is, because literally the demon will torment them. The demon, like, you know, it's not going to be nice to them. And then they have loads of wards and stuff on their body so that the demon can't use its power. Other side that some people use demon host for is as a weapon. So they still need to capture the demon in the demon host, but they use less wards. And so what they will potentially do is, I'm going to put less wards on your body, which means that when I tell you can do something, you can go and do it. And people make deals with the demons. People will make deals with the demons. They'll kind of say, look, if you work for me for so long, eventually I'll release you. And so the demon will go and use a portion of their power that the wards allow them to. And basically they can use demon hosts as weapons. People do different things. You can also capture demons inside objects, which is what I was saying just as we're going into adverts. It's a lot harder. And to be honest, I think the only people capable of capturing demons inside weapons and items and stuff, I think it's only people in the warp that can do that. I don't think you can actually do that in the material realm. I think you have to do that in the warp. But again, then that demon is contained within that item. And so I really like the idea of this thing of like it being the immaterial being captured in stuff this idea I've tried to switch it a bit for what I'm doing in my world, which is where the souls come in. So and in regards to the comment of, does this mean you can end up with a sentient thing? They completely are. So like a demon host is two beings. A demon host is the human host and it's the demon, so they are completely aware of what's going on. So I keep referring to weapons because there are demon weapons, and there are specific demon weapons. That weapon is aware. That weapon is, as much as a demon can be, that weapon is alive, and so there's power in that weapon, which is of the demon. And so so I've kind of got my own version of. I've kind of done my own little twist of that, which is relating to these things. And so souls, if you can find a way, which in the majority of cases I've been going down the route of souls can be captured in crystals, the same way that a mana crystal is formed, you can capture a soul inside a mana crystal as well. Majority of souls are not going to want to do that because it's taking away their freedom. It's putting them in prison. But if you can break a soul or potentially make a deal with a soul, so this bit here, if you can make a deal with a soul, you can say, look, if you get that soul to potentially focus on a particular thing, we'll call it a spell for now, but so we'll say like if we get that soul to basically, essentially the soul is tortured. So these things are not nice. These things are not nice at all. But if you torture the soul enough to get it to break, so that it will then be focused on whatever you want it to be, like say you want a flaming sword, you break this soul so that all the soul can think about is fire, and then that crystal will have to be put inside. So like say like a wizard's staff, you could put it in the wizard's staff, and then they would be able to cast fire a lot easier, because that soul is always thinking about fire, which means the mana that is near that wizard's staff finds it easier to be focused into fire. Now there is a possibility that you might get a soul that agrees to becoming an enchantment. I don't know exactly when that might be, but I'm not going to say it's impossible. And so this is where I think I'm going down the route of enchantments. In terms of like having actual like demon hosts, because I do like the idea of where you can go with like demon hosts and stuff. In terms of like, you know, the idea of like them having to be captured, because otherwise you don't know where they are. Certainly, you know, and souls are along the same line. I don't even know if I'm going to call them souls right now, because I mean, one of the things I have been thinking about was if you go back back in terms of religion, there's a reason why there's two spellings for demon. So you have demon and you have demon, pronounced the same way but spelt differently. And I was doing some reading. I can't remember exactly where I was doing the reading, but I was doing some reading, and apparently, while we class them nowadays as the same thing, I want to say it's Greek. But that might be wrong. These were two separate things, and I think what we've actually ended up with nowadays is you had basically good and bad demons. Going back, and there was good and bad demons, and so that's why they had different spellings. And I think essentially what we have now, I think nowadays what we think of as demons and demons is actually just that. Though I haven't found to clarify before someone points it out, I haven't found like a thing where it says, oh yeah, now we just call them angels. Just in the past, demons were essentially souls that could do good and bad. It was basically you could do good and bad, and it didn't. So there wasn't a huge much of a differentiation. Whereas now, most spelling is just that, and we see them as bad. We see them as bad. But in the past, it was just both. They were both spellings, and they represented these immaterial beings that could do good or bad things. So I say I didn't find anything definite for it, but I think that's essentially what over time has just ended up being demons and angels rather than demons and demons. So what I might end up doing is I might not even end up calling them souls. They might end up being called demons, but going down this route of demons can do good and bad. Like demons do whatever they want to do that keeps them going, I think is the route I'm probably going to go down. But yeah. So souls, I think captured souls that are captured in crystals are going to be how I'm going to have enchantments in the world, and then potions, things like potions, because the thing is, I don't want to change the magic system too much in this world, because I'm trying to do it for a reason. Like, I'm trying to do the magic system in this world for a reason of I want magic to be difficult. I want magic to be difficult in this world because I don't want it to control everything. And then so potions are difficult because potions we'd normally associate with magic being put in them. But then because in this world magic relies on living things, I think we are going to have to, and I think I don't know if Mana's still here, but I think we talked about this last time with potions. I think the route we're going to have to go down with is a potion is going to have to be possibly living material. I'm thinking a potion might have to be some kind of like living material, like an algae or something like that. I think it's going to have to be like an algae or something. Maybe there is a soul crystal in this as well. But it's the only way, based on the magic system I'm trying to put together, it's the only way I can see it working is potions of like healing or potentially potions of mana might end up being like a solution, which might mean this, what this might introduce is potions having a sell-by date, which I realise is a much more modern thing, but we might end up with a situation where potions have to have a sell-by date because the algae that's inside expires. Like rather than having like a stockpile, or maybe it's something you have to prepare the day before. Maybe if you know you're going into a situation, you know, like say you're going into a dungeon, maybe you have to go in, maybe you have to, you know, like you have to go to a lake or something, get some like plankton or algae or something inside, and you know that once you've gathered it, you've only got 24 hours before the algae dies off or something like that. But then I've got to try and figure out why it would be a healing thing. Like, what's going to make it heal? So the reason why I'm putting living stuff in it is because that's where the concentration of mana comes from. And potentially, and you might be asking the question, you might be going, well, if a potion has an expiry date because the living stuff inside it dies, why not just use a mana crystal? Because we know mana crystals hold mana for a much longer time. Mana crystals are expensive, and part of the reason they're expensive is because they hold mana over a long time. So almost the route I'm thinking about going with potions is potions are almost like almost like home remedies. It's almost going to be it's going to be a bit more than a home remedy, because you obviously have to know how they work. But potions might be the cheap solution to if you can't afford a mana crystal, because they're not going to be as effective. Like it would be way better to have it'd be way better to just have a stack of mana crystals. But they're obviously, as I say, they're going to be really expensive mana crystals. Going to be very controlled things. So using them for something like healing, I'm sure you get someone who's really rich. You know, if there's someone who's really rich, they probably do have a stack of mana crystals on hand. But for the purposes of saying like an adventurer, say like if you were talking about like in a D&D campaign type thing, most of those people are not going to be able to afford mana crystals, and so they're going to have to do potions, which some of them may end up learning the potions themselves. They might learn how to make these potions themselves. The only bit that I've not thought about and I need to figure out is what makes this heal. What makes this, like, is this like an emergency? I mean, obviously it's an emergency because it's a healing potion. But what, like, is the potion going to be something that's able to be used by someone who's not a magic user. Because I've said previously, like, to use magic, you have to actually know. It's not good enough just to know a spell. Because magic's based on focus, you have to actually know what you're healing. And so that's another level of, I don't necessarily know what to do with these potions, because they're not necessarily going to be usable by someone who doesn't know how to heal. Like, how essentially is the potion going to be an auto heal or an assistant to the heal? I'm not decided on that. Like, potions might still not work. There is a solid chance that potions are still not going to work in my world, which is going to play beautifully into. We've got a character, haven't we? We've got a character who's a dodgy salesman called Ambrosius. We've written that down on another page. Ambrosius is going to be a snake oil salesman who basically tries to sell potions and trinkets, even though they potentially don't work at all. So he's going to have a great trade in selling these. But yeah, so at the moment, potions are still a problem. Because they don't... They don't have the knowledge to heal. So unless I manage to work out some kind of a being, some kind of a small being that knows how to heal. But again, this will end up going down almost like the enchantment route. This will go down the enchantment route of it's going to be a being that's been captured kind of against its will and forced to heal. But yeah. Pots with living things, so sea monkeys. Yeah, basically, yeah, it's sea monkeys. It's just people raising sea monkeys, but how have we taught the sea monkeys how to know how to heal an artery or something? Yana, effects differ by who's taking them. Only if you know exactly how you're doing it works as intended. Yeah, quite possibly. Like, this might be so. What might be the case with this is essentially healing potions don't exist. It might be a case of healing potions don't exist, but mana potions do. And mana potions are cheap versions of mana crystals because they're something that you can make yourself. So it might be a case of that mana potions are a thing, but they still have to be used by whoever your designated healer is. And so and it might go in two ways. It might be a case of the magic user drinks it so that there's more mana in their body to focus, but then that would be a bit of a dangerous thing because we talked about sorcerers before. Or they take the mana potion and they spill it or throw it at whatever they need to focus magic on. So potentially, like they could throw it as a grenade. They could throw it as a grenade and it splashes on the ground. So if you're in a dungeon somewhere, they throw the mana potion on the ground, and then they focus on that bit and they go, that needs to set on fire. And then we know there's a concentration of mana here that they can call on. Or maybe a really detailed and complicated wound here, guys. And then the wound's bloody, the wound's bleeding. They pour the mana potion onto the wound so that there is a concentration of mana in the wound, which they can then use to help when they're doing their focus. So like that might be the approach I take with what happens with these potions. Like so, and then this will factor into the Ambro character of the dodgy snake oil salesman. Like he might be selling things going, this is a healing potion. And healing potions don't exist. So potions are still trying to figure them out in my head. But I think this is the route. I think this is the kind of route I'm going to go down with for enchantments. Is enchantments are souls. Like so the soul has. So you're not going to be able to enchant. You're not going to be able to enchant like just. And this still fits in my world of you can't like say have a piece of rock with a rune on it, or a blade with like runes written down it. Like enchantments aren't going to work like that. An enchantment is going to require a soul crystal, which, as we said previously, soul crystals could be problematic because it's a soul, it's a being. But some people aren't going to care. Some people aren't going to care if it's a being because it's an immaterial being that doesn't exist on our plane. You know, kind of like you could have people like protesting. You could have people protesting for the rights of souls, or the rights of demons, whatever I end up calling them. And they're protesting for the rights of them, whereas because they don't exist in the material world, there might be a lot of people who are just like, I don't care. So yeah, so I'm getting there, and that means we can have enchantments, but enchantments are still going to be rare, which again fits with the whole thing of magic not being commonplace. And to answer the unasked question, which is potentially, why am I spending so much time on trying to figure out magic in the world if I don't want magic to be a main focus? The reason is because I need to know how magic works in this world, because it will impact everything else. Like, it will impact the way people grow crops, it will impact industry, it will impact politics, it will impact warfare. So I need to know how magic works so I can look at how much of an impact it has on everything else going on in the world. Like everything else in the world, like we kind of know, everything else, like say if we were to take farming, for example. Like we know in the real world, we know how farming works. So it's easy for me to set out a farming town because I know how farming is going to interact with that town. But if we introduce mana and we turn around and say, oh, mana means that farms grow their crops in an hour, then all of a sudden you kind of go, oh, well, that means that farming town doesn't need to be. We don't need to have like 5 farming towns supplying one city with food, because if they can grow an entire crop in an hour, there only needs to be one farming town, and it doesn't even need to be a town. It could probably just be the size of a small hamlet, because they're growing so much food that they can supply the city. So there's things like that I'm trying to think of, and that's why I'm spending so much time trying to figure out the magic, because it has repercussions on every other aspect of life, and because it doesn't exist in our world, I haven't got a point of reference. I realise there's other fantasy worlds that have points of reference, but other fantasy worlds are very big on magic, can do lots of stuff, which almost begs the question, why doesn't it impact more of their lives? Like that. So that's where my brain's trying to get past. I need to understand magic, because then I can build the rest of the world and how it impacts it. Because I still want to have, like, in the human world, and in the dwarven world, I want to have things like steampunk. I want to do like a load of steampunk stuff. But if magic is commonplace, is anyone even going to have bothered doing steampunk when we got magic? So yeah, there's those kind of bits. So it all building blocks and how it changes the world. Anyway, that's me just waffling and wittering inanely. And I've wittered on for way longer than I intended to, but that's all right, because it was all worthwhile. What else we got? How do stem cells know what to do? So Ambro, that's a really good that's a really good example of how these potions... Oh no, I've lost them. Where have I put them? So that's a really good point, Ambro, about things like stem cells. How do stem cells know what to fix? Like, has someone figured out how... Like, has someone figured out here... with this thing, like, is it... Maybe it's not a load of sea monkeys. Maybe it's not a load of sea monkeys. Maybe it's a load of stem cells. But then I've got to figure out how do they get the stem cells out. You did smart. You did indeed do smarts, yeah. So there's like, what can be in here? What can be in here that knows how to heal? Because I did think about blood potions. I did think about blood potions from the point of view of like blood. You know, it's like the stem cells. Does blood know? Like blood already kind of knows what it needs to do. But then obviously you've got to harvest blood. How long is the blood going to last in a vial? How long is a stem cell going to last in here? So, yeah, there's bits like if I can come up with a reasonable explanation for it, then maybe potions can become autonomous. The home remedy one still works though. Like essentially, mana potions will be easier than healing potions because a mana potion just has to have something living in it to have mana gathered to it. So they can all still exist and stuff. Anyway. Sorry. Your gnome is a powerful sorceress. the gnome can, but understand, Mana. If they're going to, if the gnome is going to be a sorceress, sorcerers and sorceresses in this world do go nuts, and there's not really any way with the way that sorcerers are in this world, they do eventually go insane. Like it's not a long term career path being a sorcerer. You'll rue the day you pissed off Pretty Sparkles. Pretty Sparkles just starts hurling mana potions at me. Why are you hurling mana potions at me? I don't know. I've not decided what I'm doing to you yet, but you're getting covered in mana. Who says she hasn't gone bonkers already? That's fine. That's fine. Like, I have no problem with anyone being a character they want to be in this world. Just understand that what you think your character might be doing based on another world like D&D might not apply to this world. So like sorcerers, we talked about sorcerers a long time ago when I was drawing sorcerers, and they do eventually go insane. Some of them do have the fortitude to last longer, but eventually they do all go insane, and basically the mana in them destroys them. Yana, can you be a librarian? I'm pretty sure at some point we did have that written down somewhere that you would be in charge of a library. Ambro, we need to know how much magic. We need to know how magic works so we can decide how much we aren't going to use it. Yeah. Yeah. So that, do you know, that kind of ties in with like the whole sorcerer thing. So like sorcerers are an example of magic going bad, because magic is kind of addictive once you start using it, which is why people try to use it through crystals, because if you try and use mana through yourself, it can alter yourself. Part of the reason being because you're focusing on that mana doing something, but if you're channeling it through your body, that means it's turning into that thing while you're channeling it through your body. So you can actually end up doing a lot of damage to yourself if you try and channel magic through yourself, which is what sorcerers do. Don't confuse the potion bottle with the bottled rage. Swing the wrong thing indeed, yes. Yes. Pediatric red cells, 35 days. Is that how long red cells can exist outside the body? interesting. So maybe, so when I was saying like about these bottles having sell-by dates, maybe that's kind of it. Maybe they don't get. Yeah. So me saying they kind of have. Me saying they have kind of like sell-by dates going to be quite short. I mean, they're not going to be refrigerated or anything, are they? They're going to be in your bag. We'll see. We'll see. We will see. Potions. I've got a route. I'm going with potions at the moment. I'm trying to work out. So essentially, when I'm trying to work something out, I'll come up with the idea, and while it would be great to go down the cool route with these things, while potentially going down the cool route is a thing, what I try and do is I try and think of all the pitfalls of how it doesn't work. And if I can't come up with any more pitfalls, then maybe we can introduce cool things. Consider healing potions enable the body that knows how to heal itself to do so very rapidly. Maybe like you're giving mana to, you're increasing the concentration of mana around cells that are already trying to heal, but the body's cells don't use mana. Mana is all about focus. So while a body draws mana towards itself, so mana is attracted to focus, but the body isn't actually using mana. The reason why we can use mana is that's because for lack of a better term, the gods, when the gods elevated the beings, they gave them the ability to tap into the mana. So while mana is attracted to something, so the idea of a wound, there would be so you could have a concentration of it, but the actual body itself doesn't use it. So that probably wouldn't work. Unless I can figure out a way it does. Unless we can figure out a way it does. Like with the fact that the blood... yeah. It's not there yet. But it's coming together, but not quite there. And sorry, yeah, you were saying, Mana, that Sparkles is the size of a boot. How bad can she be? Well, if she's a sorceress, then she could be really bad. That's why she's got crutches like the ring on her big toe to ease the damage she does to herself. Yeah, we did do that, didn't we? We had like she's got like bits on her, which potentially like earth her for essentially. But anyway, right. Sorry, guys. I do need to go. I do need to go because I need to go and have lunch, and then I've got work to do as always. But I do enjoy these conversations because I think I've said before, like it helps me find the ways this world doesn't work, because people come up with ideas and I kind of go, does that work? Does that ruin the idea I had? So it's all good. Right, tomorrow is double gaming day. I did not ask you all whether you wanted Go Medieval or to take a look at 2 games that I've been sent. I need to do that today. Right, I need to after stream, I need to put up on Discord a vote. And this isn't to say that Going Medieval has to disappear entirely. Like Going Medieval can come back next week. But I've got 2 games which we might split the day between. So I need to put that on Discord. After this. But yeah, anyway, so tomorrow is a full gaming day. And then obviously next week is coming back to all this kind of stuff. And that's kind of it. That's it. We've got to go now. I've got to be places. I'm sure you guys have got to be places. Yeah. Delightful. Fun. Dice in the D&D tab. I will go and have a look at those. I'll go and have a look at those after stream. Yes. Cool. All right. If you've been here, thank you very much. If you've been talking in chat, thank you even more. I've told you where I'll be. So whatever you choose to do with the rest of your day, I hope that you have a fantastic time. And until I next see you, until then, goodbye.